So what is actually the difference between the equals sign and the equals method in Java? This is very important to understand because this will be asked to you in interview questions. And it doesn't matter whether you are a senior developer or a junior developer. The probability is very high that you will come across this question. So let's understand the concept and never forget it again. And I want to show you also some examples. This is why we have created this employee class. It's a very simple class. We have an ID, we have a name, and we have a last name. And here in the end, you can see we have an empty constructor. We need getters and setters, and for getters and setters, we are using Lombok. Lombok is a really cool feature that will automatically generate getters and setters for you. And actually, we can even remove this empty constructor and simply add another annotation here, which is the no args constructor. So Lombok will automatically generate that for us. Okay, and now we are in our main class. Here, we want to create our employees. So the first employee is Adolf. He has the ID of 1. His name is Adolf, as I said, and his last name is Myers. And since we want to compare objects, we need, of course, another object. So we create a second employee. His name is Tom. He has the ID of 2, and his last name is Greek. Okay, so let's see how this works basically under the hood. Here we have created our two employees, employee Adolf and employee Tom. And in Java, we have some concept which is called a heap. A heap is basically your memory on your physical computer. And whenever we tell Java to create a new object, it will create a new object and save it at a certain address on the heap. And this address is, for example, 0x113. It's just an example, so please don't mind. And we do the same for Tom. And also for Tom, we use the new keyword. And because we use the new keyword, we are telling Java, hey, create this object also at a different certain address on the heap. And here we choose 0x114. And now comes the point. Once we compare Tom with his address 0x114 and we compare Adolf with his address 0x113, we can see, due to the numbers 4 and 3, that this is not equal. And this is why this will return false if we use the equals operator. And now I've prepared something for you, basically a test. So what I've prepared for you is in line 19, we are basically printing, comparing with double equal sign and then is, and then we are evaluating this expression. So we are checking if Tom equals Adolf. After our explanation, we see and we know that these both, due to the new operator, are created on different memory locations. So it should be false. Let's verify this, and it's false. But now the question is arising, what is the equals doing and where is the difference? So here I've prepared something for you in line 22. It's basically the same as above, just instead of the double equal sign, we are using the equals word. So if we want to find out what this is doing, we can actually even go inside of it. And we can see that this is the equals method of the object.java class. The object.java class is the base object, and every object that you create, for example, our employee class, is inheriting from this object. This means that this is the default equals value that every object has if we don't define our custom one. And what this is doing, it's taking another object and then it's comparing them again with a double equals sign. So this means that in our case, if we leave it with the default equals method, that we are basically again using the double equals sign. So the answer to this is that this is equal to this. So this will produce the same outputs. And we can test it and we can see both of them is false. So now let's see what an example looks like. We know that the difference between the equals sign and the equals method is basically that we can change the equals method. So this is what we have done here for our employee class. I've basically created a new equals method and we have to override it because we are overriding it from the base object.java class. And here in the first line, we simply check, okay, is it the same object? Then of course return true. So this is the default method if it's on the same object reference. The next one we check, okay, if it's null or if the class type is different. So if we are comparing, for example, employee to a string class, of course it's different. So we can safely return false. And now comes the important part. First, we are basically creating the employee class out of this. And then we are comparing their IDs, their name, and the last name. And if we say, okay, all of them are the same, then we return a true. To show you this in an example, I've created a Tom twin. So this is a twin of Tom. The twin of Tom has the same ID, the same name, and the same last name. And here we want to check now if this is equal. You remember before it was a false, but now we assume it to be correct. Let's double check this. And you can see, has Tom twin same genetics to Tom? And this is true. So why is this true? Because now it's using not the objects.java class equals method, but our own. And our own is comparing it in this way. And this is basically the difference. So let us summarize our results. Here you can see that the equal sign is basically comparing the reference to the memory allocation on the heap, on your hardware, on your laptop. You can see here we have Tom, which is who is on 0x113, Adolf, who is on 0x114, and Tom Twin, who is on 0x115. So actually, Tom Twin and Tom are different, right? They are in different memory allocation. If we compare them with the equal sign, it will be wrong. However, as you can see here, we changed our equals method. So we override it. Every equals method, every object is derived from the object.java class. And this object.java class has an equals method. So if you don't specify it, if you don't override it, you will use the default one, which is the same as the equals sign. But if you override it, you can determine what you want to have it compared. So here we compared it then with the ID, with the name, and with the last name. And this led to the result that Tom dot equals Tom twin is true.